So today, we're gonna be talking about why I'm choosing to be cash poor. Coming up. Welcome to the Journey of Finance. My name is Cedric, and here on this channel, we talk about how you can achieve financial independence and retire early if that's something that you're into. I'm also documenting my journey to FI as well. So if you like what you see, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell so you're notified of every new video that I upload weekly here on this channel. Oh, and also if you're vibing with this content, be sure to hit that like button before the end of this video. It really helps out the channel a lot and it helps this community to grow. So if you are one of my really good friends and you came up to me and said, Cedric, my car broke down and I need to get it fixed, but the repair shop said it would cost $800 to do so, but I don't have it, but I need the car. Would you be able to lend me the money and I could pay you back as soon as possible? I, of course, being the guy that I am and wanting to help my friend, of course, would be able to look at my friend and say, in good conscience, I don't have the $800 to lend you, I'm sorry. Now, before you write me off as a jerk or a horrible friend, the reason is because I rarely ever keep a bunch of extra money in my checking account or in my bank for that matter that isn't reserved for something else. So I don't actually have any extra money to be able to give my friend to help them out. Now, I know it's just a hypothetical example, but I wanted to prove a point to say that I don't really have a lot of cash sitting around in my bank. The truth is, I rarely ever have more than $1,000 just sitting in my checking account or even in one of my savings accounts. And yes, I have multiple savings accounts for different reasons and purposes. That's beyond the scope of this video, but I rarely just have extra money that doesn't have a purpose or that isn't named for something. I would have already moved it to my brokerage accounts or my crypto portfolio. The reason why I do that is every time I budget my money, I'm always giving every single dollar essentially a purpose. After all of my expenses are paid and I have whatever amount left over, I'm already determining where I want to send that money or what kind of purpose that money has, whether it's going to a specific savings because I need to upgrade my computer, which is something that I actually have to do and I'm planning on doing that next month, or I send it to my investments. And I do that at the very beginning of the month, which is when I tend to budget. So from that angle, you can consider me cash poor. I mean, I'm not running around here spending all my cash. I'm not running out here flossing and trying to buy the latest, greatest things. I mean, if you just saw me walking down the street, I mean, you wouldn't think that I'm broke or poor or anything like that, but you wouldn't think that I have a lot of money. I mean, you just wouldn't know. Now, the way that I look at money now is far different than how I used to look at money, say 10, 15 years ago. I remember the days when I used to be so proud of the fact that I had thousands of dollars sitting in my checking account and maybe a couple of grand sitting in my savings account, and I felt like I was a big baller, I felt like I had money, and I felt like I was doing the right thing. But since then, I had learned a lot more about how money works and how economics plays into it. Because I feel like most Americans, when they think about saving money, 9 times out of 10, they're thinking about putting money in a savings account and just stashing it away and just accumulating cash, essentially, just sitting in the bank. And I'll prove to you a little later on that that is one of the worst things that you can do with your money. I like to look at my life as I'm on this journey to achieve financial independence and as I'm on this journey to build my wealth and grow it through accumulating assets. I don't want to have a lot of cash. I don't want to have money just sitting there not doing nothing, but I want to employ every single one of my dollars to work for me to make more money. But the point is, I keep a low amount of money in my savings account and in my checking account, and you can call me cash poor, and here's why. Okay, so I know that might sound harsh, but let me explain. So your cash, meaning the physical money that you keep in your wallets or the cash or the money that's in your bank accounts, is a fiat currency, meaning it is issued by the government and is really dependent on the stability of the government, and it's not backed by anything of actual value or a commodity like gold, for example. The problem with this is it's only as strong as the government backing it. And also the other problem is it has value because the government says it has value. So for example, in an economic system like the US, our currency is subject to the monetary policy of the Fed, which means it can be subject to inflation. A big part of that is because of the excessive money printing that we can do in the US government. We can just print money out of thin air, which puts more dollars into circulation, devaluing the current currency. So your money is being devalued the more the government prints money. Inflation is a real issue, and I like to call it the silent killer of your finances because this can happen without you even really noticing. You'll be used to getting, say for example, coffee every day at a certain price. It might be $3.50 a cup. And you're used to doing this month after month. And then one day you notice, oh, it went up 25 cents. Now it's $3.75. You go another couple of months and then a year later, you'll notice that, hey, coffee now costs $4.50, but my dollar is still worth $1. So that's where the decrease in purchasing power comes. And you can apply this to pretty much anything because as you notice, things get more expensive over time. That can be goods, services, and also real estate. So in recent years, and this can be debated, but it is generally said that inflation has been increasing year after year about 1 to 2%, give or take. Recently, the new inflation numbers that came out for the month of October of 2021 was 6.2%, which is the highest it's been in over 30 years. And so this sent shockwaves in the markets as if people didn't even know it was coming, which is kind of silly. Things kept getting more expensive. And obviously with the pandemic happening and with all of the excessive money printing, what other outcome was there gonna be? So while your dollar continues to remain a dollar, everything else around you is increasing in price. Now, another reason why cash is trash is where do most people keep most of their money? In the banks. And this gives people a false sense of security that their money is safe. Now, on one hand, banks are typically FDIC insured, which means your money up to a certain amount, usually $250,000 at minimum, is safe if something catastrophic happened to your money and to the bank. The federal government says, you know what, we'll reimburse or we'll be able to recover this amount of money that you lost through whatever event. But on the other hand, your money is just sitting in the bank while the banks are paying you absolutely nothing for your money. Now, gone are the days where savings accounts used to pay 4, 5, 6%. So the banks get to hold your money and capitalize on you putting your money with them, and they get to even make tons of money off of your money just sitting in the bank and them being able to lend money out to other people and institutions while you're getting paid nothing. And most people just don't even think anything of it. As a matter of fact, most people don't even know how banks typically work. So with cash, no matter how you look at it or no matter how you spin it, you lose. You ultimately lose because your cash is always going to be devalued year after year. And if you choose to keep a bulk of it or all of it in the banking system, you're going to lose to inflation. There's no other way around it. Another reason why I'm choosing to be cash poor is it helps me to keep a relatively frugal lifestyle. Now, I'm not living off of canned beans and I'm not sleeping on the floor or anything like that. Nothing wrong with that. But for me, I'm able to remind myself month after month that I have a goal and I'm on this journey to achieve financial independence. And in order to do that, I need to take massive action. And for me, that means that I keep my expenses low and I don't make these unnecessary purchases or buy things that I don't need. So I choose to be cash poor because I don't want the temptation of spending money on things that won't help me to achieve my goals in the future. So what I basically do now is in my budget, I have all of my expenses or everything that has to go out every month. That is, my rent, my health insurance, my groceries, things like that. And that is always factored in. After I pay all of that, I do leave myself a little bit of money to spend throughout the month. Everything else outside of that, I've already sent to my brokerage or my crypto account. So for me, it just really helps me to focus on just paying my expenses and living a relatively frugal life. I don't want to live in frugality in retirement. I want to just have the freedom and flexibility to live out of my abundance, but also to give out of my abundance. But until then, I'm okay with living super frugal until that happens. Another reason why I'm choosing to be cash poor, and this could be sort of a Jedi mind trick that I play on myself, is it reminds me that I need to keep hustling. I never want to get to the place where I feel like I'm very comfortable with where I'm at with the money that I have in the bank or the money that I pull in, to where I pull back the brakes on hustling, because for this point in my life, this is hustle mode for me. So I don't want to ever get complacent with that because I feel like that's only going to hinder my journey on the road to financial independence, at least with the timeline that I want to achieve it in. So at the end of the day, I am not concerned about keeping up with the Joneses because I don't care about how people look at me. I don't care about people's perception of me, if they think I have money or not. As a matter of fact, I kind of prefer them not to know that I have money or assets built up. I'm on my own journey to financial independence and I have my own plan. And right now is hustle mode, even for my money and my assets. This isn't time for me to spend my assets or my money. It's time for my assets to really work and to grow. Now, if I don't keep my money in the banks and I'm not saving up in a savings account, what am I doing? I am mainly investing in cryptocurrency and also in the traditional stock markets. In my stock market portfolio, I mainly have a Roth IRA, which is my retirement account, something that I can't touch until I'm at least 59 and a half. But in that, I have a couple of index funds that I'm invested into and also a few different stocks, individual stocks with that. And then also I have an individual brokerage account. With that, I just have a couple of individual stock picks. In my cryptocurrency account, I am mostly into Bitcoin, which I use as a hedge against inflation, and it is also my store of value. It also appreciates over time and grows, so I have most of my money in that, and I have a couple of different altcoins that I use more as like investment plays. That is how I'm combating inflation and combating the devaluation of my dollar, and that's where I'm putting most of my money to work right now. For you, if you're not really heavily invested in anything, I do highly encourage you to look into asset classes like Bitcoin, which again is a good hedge against inflation. And you can also look into different stock market type investments. Really, essentially anything is better than just keeping cash in your bank. And I have different videos on that you can check out that might be able to help you figure out which asset classes would be right for you. And that is why I'm choosing to be cash poor, but asset rich. All right, I wanna hear from you now. Let me know if you are choosing to be cash poor, if you're choosing to live a frugal lifestyle to achieve FIRE or to achieve financial independence, or if you have another strategy that you do. There's no right or wrong answer. I think that we can all share ideas, so leave them in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts. All right, again, if you liked or found value in this video, hit that like button. It definitely helps this channel out. I definitely want to grow this community of like-minded people. And so, yeah, definitely share this video with anyone that you feel like would help. And let's grow this community to 1,000 subs by the end of this year. I know it's a little ambitious, but I think with your help, we can definitely level up together. All right, don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.